I remember like the beginning, you know, before she'd say, I see my, you know, like they're doing the credits, opening credits, and they showed this like wooded area. It was probably like New England or something, and it had like
And you were like,
autumn
what's wrong with the
colors.
trees? They're a weird
And
color.
I was like mesmerized. I thought it was beautiful. And I remember thinking, where is, because I was from LA, like where is that?
So sad.
Like where do trees do that? Because palm trees do not do that. If palm
No.
trees are changing colors,
Palm trees
you've
are
got
not
real
my
problems.
favorite tree.
No, but if a palm tree is changing color,
It's dead.
it's dead. Yes.
That's
But
so
how is-
sad.
That's how I fell in love with fall, was watching it on,
Romper Room.
yes.
Romper Room's claim to fame.
Because it was like, it's all fall. It was a totally different experience than,
We also call it autumn.
oh, are we on?
Do you want to shut the whole thing down and start it over? Is it like 15 minutes later?
So my brother said, do a magic trick. Oh, now you, oh, you can hear. Can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me?
That would be scary.
No, I think can they hear us?
No, but if Papa can hear you, that's a little.
Oh, yeah, I think they hear us. And that was the whole service.
Yes. Rabbi, that was an amazing sermon. Thank you for those words. I don't think I've ever heard you quite
So I think they hear us because they don't want us to shut it down. Elliot, if you can hear me, can you write in the chat who your favorite sister is? I'll give you a clue. It's me. Did he write my name in there? So if you could hear me, but our video is frozen.
It's a Shabbos miracle. What?
We are mic'd? Are we good? So I understand that you could both hear us and see us. It's a Shabbos miracle. Halavai. So sorry for taking so long, and thank you for your patience. We have a lot of new audio video equipment tonight as we're getting geared up for the high holidays, and we just had some kinks as we were getting hooked up tonight. So thank you all for your patience. They want more charades. No more charades. So now you know what happens behind the scenes.
That never happens.
Never. So as you could tell, by the time Friday night comes, Cantor and I are deeply in need of Shabbat. We're in need of a little bit of rest and renewal and refreshment. And so we hope that you will join us tonight with our opening prayer with Ki Eshmara Shabbat. It can be found on page 129. When I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. Ki Eshmara Shabbat.
Ki eshmera Shabbat al yishmereni. Ki eshmera Shabbat al yishmereni. Oti leomea beino beini. Oti leomea beino beini. Ki eshmera Shabbat
Sabbath Queen is waiting impatiently at the door. We have kept her waiting, and so we're not going to keep her waiting anymore. We continue together with Lecha Dodi on page 138. And as we prepare to welcome in the Sabbath bride, I hope you take the time to also welcome each other. Greet the people that you see on the chat, and if there are people that are new to you, please introduce yourselves to them and to welcome them as well. We continue on page 138, and we'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zochor v'libor echad Yishmiyanu el ha'meichad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'nitila Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor ha'beraka merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Itoreri, itoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nikla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret pana gam b'simcha otzech olam toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
This Shabbat is a particularly joyous Shabbat, as is every Shabbat when we have the opportunity and the blessing to welcome one of the youth in our congregation to the Bima as a bar or bat mitzvah. And on this Shabbat, we celebrate Mia Kaufman as she takes her place amongst the Jewish people as an adult. And we're thinking of Mia and her parents, Daniel and Talia, and her younger brother Eli, as well as all of her grandparents and even her great-grandparents who will be celebrating with us tomorrow, and her aunts and her uncles and her cousins, most of all whom are actually members of our congregation. And so, Mia, I hope you are having a wonderful Shabbat dinner. We are thinking of you, and we cannot wait to celebrate with you and your family tomorrow. And so it is with you in our hearts as we welcome in the Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem, and it is with you in our thoughts as we light the Shabbat candles. The blessing for the candles can be found on page 120, but first we welcome in the angels of Shabbat on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. השלום, מלאכי עליון, מלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We continue together with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
עמד יברח ירתה וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לא מעלמיה.
Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשו בריחו. לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We continue with the Ma'ariv Aravim on page 140.
Lai 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 ya lai 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 ai lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim ma'ariv aravim v'chokma poteach sharim ובתבונה משנה איתי ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. לי 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 אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבתו. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
We continue together with the Geulah on the top of page 157. Oh, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
We do not do that.
Page 154.
You know what? I was in the mood for redemption, and I was feeling like I needed it, but I also could use a little bit of love.
Yes.
So we continue on page 154 with the Ve'ahavta.
Let's go there first. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים ללכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. We continue together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158.
Me כמוך, באלים אדוני, מי כמוך, נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אליהם, נורא תהילות, אוסף אליהם. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever can, redemption song. Malakutecha, Ro'u banecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli, anu ve'ameru, Adonai imlok le'olam va'ed. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever can. Redemption song, redemption song, redemption song. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
As we sing the Hashkivenu tonight, I invite you to just close your eyes. Think about all the people in our country, all the people in our world who are seeking shelter and peace, protection from all the things that cause them harm. Let's hold them in our hearts. Let's pray that the day will come soon. And this whole world will be enveloped in a sense of peace, a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood, where no one will go to sleep afraid. Page 160.
השקיפנו לשלום והעמידנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, סוכת שלומך, ושמור צאתנו גואנו לחיים לשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, סוכת שלומך. Give us this night time to lie in peace. May we rise to new life each day, and let there be shelter for the brokenhearted, a shelter of peace for us all. And guard our going and coming home, filled with life and peace from now and ever on. And let there be shelter for the brokenhearted, a shelter of love for us all. השקיפנו לשלום והעמידנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת
We continue now with the Vishamru on page 162.
Rabbi, I was ready for you to invite up the kids, and then I realized
That they're not here?
it's just in my heart.
You're not seeing people who aren't here, are you?
No, but
Just checking.
I sure feel their presence.
That is true.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam be'rit olam be'ni u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat, Shabbat, vayinafa Shabbat, Shabbat, vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam. Be'rit olam be'ni u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam.
We rise for the tefillah beginning on page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fia gidei latecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Ha'Gibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, Mezocher Haserafim
We continue praying privately from page 172 through 180, either standing or sitting, as is your custom.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי. Adonai tsuri v'goali, Adonai tsuri, Adonai tsuri v'goali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, when it yearns, when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock and my redeemer. Yihyu leratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi. Yihyu leratzon imrei fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha.
As we offer a prayer for healing tonight, in addition to all those who we personally pray for, in addition to all of those on our congregation's healing list, let's also keep in our hearts all those whose lives and homes have been put in danger because of the fires that rage throughout our state. Let us think of all those first responders who are out there risking their lives to keep our homes and our communities safe. And let us also hold in our hearts all those whose homes and communities have been devastated by the hurricanes going through the Gulf Coast. There is so much pain and so much suffering in the world that sometimes it feels like the only thing that we can do is offer comfort and offer prayers. So as we offer this prayer tonight, let's ask ourselves, is there more? Is there more that we can do? Is there a person that I can reach out to? Is there a cause that I can support? In what ways can I lift the burden of someone who is suffering? Page 371.
Mend our bodies, renew our spirits. We pray for healing for all those in need, refuah shlema. For all those in need, refuah shlema. May the one who blessed our fathers, may the one who blessed our mothers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer. For all those in need, refuah shlema. Shabbat Shalom.
All week, I have struggled about how to talk with you tonight. Not what to talk about, but how. The what was clear to me. I had to speak about the shooting of Jacob Blake Jr., but how to speak about it was more complicated. And then, as I read this week's Torah portion, it became so clear to me. In Parashat Ki-Teitzei, Moses warns us and says, "You shall not watch your brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide yourself from them. You shall in any case bring them again to your brother. And if your brother is not near you, or if you know him not, then you shall bring it into your own house, and it shall be with you until your brother seeks after it, and you shall restore back to him. In like manner shall you do with his ass, and so shall you do with his garment, and with every lost thing of your brother's, which he has lost, and you have found. Shall you do likewise. You may not hide yourself. Lo tuchal lehit halem. You may not hide yourself. It is also translated as you may not ignore, and you may not remain indifferent. In this text, it is clear that when it says brother, it is not literal, because it tells us that you may not even know your brother. Rather, this text is teaching us that anyone and everyone from our community has a kinship with us, not just those in our immediate family, not just those in our immediate community. And it's also talking about how we should behave when we see something of value that has been lost or taken away from someone else. Rabbi Mark Sack reminds us that the Jewish Study Bible teaches that the law makes a moral appeal to conscience, but possesses no legal sanction. With this declaration, the Torah is giving us less a law to follow and more an approach to life. We must be oriented to being engaged, being not only aware of injustice, but having a desire and a motivation to do something about it. In other words, lo tuchal lehitalem is not merely about property. It is about everything. You may not remain indifferent. This is about how we are supposed to live our lives, so that when we see our fellow suffering, when we see something precious to them has been lost or taken, we must act. Too many of our fellow Americans have lost their sense of safety and security. They have lost the ability to sleep at night, lost the ability to send their children out into the world without the fear that they will be taken from them. We cannot hide ourselves from what is right in front of us. We as a society can no longer deny what we have all seen with our own eyes. Our fellow Americans are being treated as less than human, as having a lesser right to dignity, to justice, and to life itself. We cannot remain indifferent. In Elie Wiesel's acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize, he said, "Action is the only remedy to indifference, the most insidious danger of all. To be silent at this time is to be indifferent. It is to be complicit, and it is to be guilty of allowing a system of oppression to continue." When asked to sum up the entire Torah, Hillel taught, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others." All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Lo tuchal lehitalem. You may not hide yourself. You may not ignore. You may not remain indifferent. This is part of the commentary of what it means when Hillel said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others." We, the Jewish people, know exactly how dangerous it is when silent bystanders say, "Not my problem," or worse, "They probably did something to deserve it." That is what enabled the Holocaust to occur. Indifference. It wasn't just the avowed Nazis. It was all of the silent bystanders who, while themselves may not have been willing to kill Jews, still felt they probably deserved some of what they were getting. Indifference is dangerous. Systems of oppression and bigotry thrive on indifference. Reverend Martin Niemöller was a well-known and controversial German Lutheran pastor. Leading up to World War II, he did nothing to oppose Hitler or fascism. Rather, he even welcomed Hitler's ascent to power. He only began to oppose Hitler when Hitler began to go after the churches. And it was only then, when his own interests were being attacked, that he woke up to what was going on. In the 1950s, he tried to atone for his complicity by touring through Europe and preaching about his own sins of silence. And that is when he became known for saying this: "First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me." Every single week, there is a new name in the news, some shocking story of someone who was shot or murdered, a new casualty of institutionalized racism held up for us all to see, for us all to witness. To say that there is no racism in America is to bear false witness to things that we have all seen with our own eyes and that we all know to be true. Jacob Blake Jr.'s sister said this week, "So many people have reached out to me saying they're sorry that this has been happening to my family." Well, don't be sorry, because this has been happening to my family for a long time, longer than I can account for, LaTetra Widman said. It happened to Emmett Till. Emmett Till is my family. It happened to Philando, Mike Brown, Sandra. "I don't want your pity," Widman said. "I want change." The Torah teaches us that Emmett Till, Philando Castile, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Jacob Blake Jr., and so many more, they are our family too. We are all children of God, all of us, brothers and sisters. After Cain killed his brother Abel, God asked Cain in horror, Where is your brother?" And Cain answered with contempt, "Am I my brother's keeper?" God punished Cain, not just for the murder, but also for that answer. It is time for humanity to learn that we cannot continue to answer that question as Cain did. The time is now for us all to step up and to learn 3 essential lessons, or things will never change. We are all from the same family of humanity. We are all responsible for each other. And there is no justification for us murdering or hating each other. I agree with LaTetra Widman. I want change too, and it is long overdue. As Hillel taught more than 2,000 years ago, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? What are we waiting for? How many more people must lose their lives, have their bodies broken, their freedom taken away? Now is the time for us to act. And we must each start with ourselves. We must speak up when we witness racism. We must rise up when we see injustice. And we must demand true and real equality for all people in this country. And we must do what we all have the power to do, whether it is peaceful protests, writing letters to our elected officials, voting, or making sure that others have the ability to vote. We must use our power, not just for ourselves, but for the betterment of our entire society. I know that many people look at the destruction of property by some during these protests over this summer and use that as a justification to turn away from what racism that we have seen. But Reverend Dr. Ron Bell urges us to look again and really see what is happening. He said, "I think you were so busy looking for a riot that you missed the gathering of the grieving. I think you were so busy looking for the looters that you missed the lament and the heartbreak of a community. I think you were so busy looking for trouble that you missed the tragedy of systemic racialized trauma on the bodies of Black and brown people. Tonight, tomorrow, and even the next day, I beg of you, look again. Look again. His words are an urgent reminder for us to take to heart and to live by the ancient command that calls out to us this week from our Torah. Lo tucha lehitalem. You may not hide yourself from what you see. You may not ignore your fellow's suffering. And no matter what, you may not remain indifferent.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, if not now, tell me when. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, if not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, if not now, tell me when. I may never see the promised land. I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll take the journey. We'll walk it hand in hand. If not now, if not now, tell me when. So we'll work it till it's done. Every daughter, every son, every soul that ever longed for something better, something brighter. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, if not now, tell me when. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, if not now, tell me when.
Thank you, Cantor. That was lovely. And so now we pause in our service for a moment for announcements, and I want to thank everyone again for their patience with us at the beginning of the service as we were working out some kinks. Thank you so much for being patient. We hope that you were entertained by our antics when you couldn't hear us. Cantor, I was thinking that if that happens again next week, perhaps I can do a pantomime of the Torah portion.
I was thinking perhaps of your sermon. We could act it out.
We could act it out. We could
Send
do
me-
that interpretive dance that I've been threatening you with all
I've been
these
waiting
years.
for the interpretive dance. I have the ribbons in the back.
That sounds good. I know, Ryan, are they saying they would like the interpretive dance for the sermon, or no comment on that? They enjoyed it? Good, 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 good. So tonight, immediately following services, we hope that you will join us for our virtual Oneg. Our host tonight will be WIBI, the Women of B'nai Israel, our sisterhood. They'll be hosting the Oneg. I hope you have all baked up something lovely to enjoy as you schmooze and greet and get to know people or to be able to see old friends. I am sure that somebody is putting the Zoom link in the chat as I speak, and so you'll be able to join WIBI and the congregation for that Oneg. Tomorrow morning, we have a lot going on. At 10 a.m., we have Torah study. At 10:30, we'll begin services, Shabbat morning services, where we will celebrate Mia Kaufman becoming a bat mitzvah. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we'll have our second in the series of Elul discussions and Havdalah. Tomorrow night, our teacher will be Brian Landsberg. It was a lovely, lovely group last Saturday night. I hope you'll join the Cantor and I for tomorrow night's discussion and Havdalah as well. On Sunday at 2 p.m., I hope you join me for a community forum on Zoom for Charles Joseph, somebody who is seeking sanctuary here in the United States. You have to pre-register for the Charles Joseph Community Forum. And at 4 p.m. on Sunday, we hope you will join us for a religious school information meeting. And for that, you also have to pre-register. Concurrently at 4 p.m., there is another in our series of the Black Lives Matters discussion. And again, for that, you also have to pre-register. If you have a child in the religious school, and you want to also go to the Black Lives Matters discussion, this is where it's a good time to divide and conquer. Hopefully, you have another adult in your house who you could send to the religious school information meeting while you attend the Black Lives Matters discussion, or vice versa. Next Wednesday, we will also be having our second High Holiday Info meeting via Zoom. And again, we ask you to pre-register for that. The High Holiday Info meeting is to help walk you through our website, let you know how services will be different this year and how you'll be able to join us, as well as some of the other special things we have planned. All of the things that I've mentioned tonight, you can find in this week's Hadashot, as well as on our website for information about where to register and when things are. And my apologies, apparently, I guess there must have been a fire in someone's kitchen because there will be no Oneg tonight. I understand that the WIBI Oneg has been canceled for tonight, but I'm sure that they will be hosting us for another Oneg. And for those of you who do not know my dry and droll humor, there was no fire in anyone's kitchen because no one's cooking for tonight. This is all virtual. Thank you. Cantor is always the only person who finds me at all entertaining.
You know, it's just not often that I hear the words dry and droll.
You don't think I'm dry and droll?
It's a lost statement.
I'm an old soul, Cantor. What can I say?
Dry and droll.
Old and arthritic.
You know, I'm going to refer to you that way now. You know that.
I do. Hey, it's better than other things you could refer to me as, so I'll take it. So do keep your eyes open. Look at the Hadashot. It is chock full of very important information as we continue into the high holidays. And if you missed the Hadashot, everything is on our website. It's either in the calendar or on the front page. We'll give you links of where you can join us. But now our attention turns back to our service as we continue with our concluding prayers, beginning with the Aleinu, which can be found on page 500 and on the bottom half of page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kekol hamonam, va'anachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech Vehunote shamayim veyosed aretz. Umoshav yakaro bashamayim ima'ah. Ushchinatu zo begovei meromim. Hu Eloheinu einod. Emet malkeinu efesulato. Kakatuv betorato. V'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha. Ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim b'shamayim ima'ah ve'al haaretz mitachat einod. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Our thoughts now turn towards loved ones who are no longer with us. And it is with great sorrow that we record the recent passing of Susan Elihu, the beloved mother of Ramesh Sinai, beloved mother-in-law of Larry Raskin, and beloved grandmother of Elliot Raskin. Also with sadness, we recall the recent passing of Leah Lamming, the beloved mother of Debbie Castleman and Barry Fischel, beloved stepmother of Glenn and Lloyd Fischel, and beloved grandmother of Lavina and Paul Castleman. Also with sadness, we recall the recent passing of Jim Cornfield, the beloved cousin of Bob Hyman and beloved uncle of Mike Hyman and Nanette, Kent, Benjamin, and Lisa Wong. And also with great sadness, we recall the recent passing of Ken Morris, the beloved brother of Twyla Morris, beloved brother-in-law of Dale Castler, and beloved uncle of Joe Castler. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. We also recall loved ones who have passed away at this time in years past. We remember Herbert Anderman, Eugene Baum, Sidney Blackman, Lucienne Borach, Herman Budman, Lillian Citronbaum, Lottie Cohen, William Cohen, Margie Cole, Frank Cruzen, Ida Eisenbraun, Lou Elkin, Melvin Estroff, Betty Fields, Leo Fields, Vernon Fugit, John Gardone, Karen Geiger, Orly Guinnessar, David Green, Frank Gruen, Tilly Haber, Philip Kahn, Don Cavrell, Lawrence Koch, Arthur Leatherwood, Frida Miller, Mac Nessman, Rose Nord, George Rosen, Adele Sellinger, Rose Soskin, Aranka Spaeth, Barbara Spitz, Michael Stein, Beverly Turner, and Gladys Seaman. If there are any names that anyone would like to add to the Kaddish list tonight, please feel free to add those names into the chat and let us know who it is that you are saying Kaddish for tonight, or to simply say the names aloud wherever you are. I'd like to invite all those who are saying Kaddish for a loved one to please rise. And if all who are able can join us in these words of comfort. Hamakom yenechem etchem betok sha'ar of Leitzion v'Yushalayim. May God comfort you among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We rise to offer comfort to those who grieve as we continue together with the Mourners Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam omei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Tonight, we close our service with,
I've changed my mind.
you've changed your mind?
I have. I've been thinking about the words that you said,
Ah,
and
the droll and dry?
the ones before that.
Ah.
The ones about taking action and being a part of this world. And I can't think of a better way. I know we've done it quite often, but I think the world is crying for these words, this melody, and this sentiment that we can't have enough of ani ve'ata, that you and I, together, we can change the world.
While I agree with you entirely,
It's on page 652.
that's exactly what I
would
wanted to
not
know.
leave you without that.
So if you have the prayer book, please join us on page 642. You and I will change the world, and then all will join us.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה ננסה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר, זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
Shabbat shalom.
שבת שלום.